Welcome to Vegan Business Talk with Katrina Fox, author of Vegan Ventures, Start and Grow an Ethical Business. Hello and welcome to episode 94 of Vegan Business Talk. I'm Katrina Fox, journalist, author, media and PR coach, copywriter, editor and proofreader, and founder of Vegan Business Media, a content, events and training platform providing success tips for vegan business owners and entrepreneurs. Now, before we get into the main part of the show, I wanted to let you know that I've opened up enrolment again to my online PR course and group coaching program, Vegans in the Limelight. I ran the course for the first time earlier this year with a group of vegan business owners and entrepreneurs from across the globe over a 12-week period. And it now comes with a full 12 months of group coaching, including a monthly live question and answer call. You can also post your questions on the learning platform, and you can post your pitches to get feedback from me before you send them to journalists. So you've basically got me holding your hand, helping you to do your own PR for a full year. It's a great value program. It's way more affordable than similar courses, and it's the only one that's specifically aimed at vegan and plant-based business owners and entrepreneurs. Some of the current students have already got media coverage in mainstream and specialist newspapers, magazines, radio and TV shows. So if you'd like to get your vegan brand or yourself featured in the media, but you don't have the budget to hire a publicist or a PR agency, then I highly recommend you check out this program. You get full and immediate access to the materials as soon as you enroll. You can find out all the details by going to veganbusinessmedia.com and clicking on the link for the course Vegans in the Limelight. In this episode, I interview Anna Tagliabue from luxury faux fur company Pelush in New York. Originally from Milan, Italy, Anna moved to New York 2 decades ago and took a job working in the fur department at Fendi, where she worked for the next 8 years. When the brand launched a faux fur, Anna was captivated by it, but since it sold for a lot less than the animal furs and was quite popular with customers, Fendi decided to no longer do faux fur. Anna bought the coat with a staff discount and began her search for high-end animal-free furs. After leaving Fendi, she worked for 13 years at Prada on Madison Avenue as a personal shopper for high-wealth women on Manhattan's Upper East Side, where her Pelush studio is currently based. 5 years ago, with the help of her friend and mentor, Italian haute couture designer Antonio Grimaldi, she started to learn the other side of the fashion business, including how to order and who to meet. And 2 years ago, she launched Pelush, which means plush in Italian, to create what she calls a revolution. Love that. Since then, her spectacular coats that look and feel like real fur have been worn by Helen Mirren, complete with a Humane Society anti-fur pin, 4-time Grammy Award-winning jazz musician and bassist Esperanza Spalding, and opera star Diana Damrau. Anna's fashion shows, including the 2 she's held as part of New York Fashion Week, are akin to performance art pieces featuring dramatic music and animal activists of all ages and backgrounds walking the runways. As well as showcasing her beautiful products, many of which include intricate hand-embroidered details, French lace and sparkling vintage glass, models carry placards with information and statistics that reveal the cruelty involved in the $40 billion fur industry. In this interview, Anna talks about why she chooses to make faux furs that look and feel like real fur, how she knows whether a material is made from animals or not, the challenges when she first started out of finding the right professionals to create the standard of product she required, how she got her coats onto celebrities and Helen Mirren to wear an anti-fur pin to a movie premiere, the importance of trunk shows, especially for new designers, and much more. Here's the interview with Anna Tagliabue from Pelush. Hello, Anna. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Hi, Katrina. Very nice to meet you. Thank you.
And I should tell our listeners that this is a rare time where I'm doing an in-person interview. I'm in New York City and I'm in the studio of Anna Tagliabue, and I'm looking right now at some absolutely stunning furs. You can see photos of them on the show notes page. They really are one of a kind, amazing. So I'm very excited to speak with Anna. And we've also got an extra person who may or may not speak occasionally, her little dog Choco. He's a very cute little long-haired chihuahua, and he's watching us as we're doing the interview. So the first question I always ask everybody, Anna, is why? So with vegan entrepreneurs, why do you do what you do? Why are you running your business?
Well, the main reason now, is not as I started, but now is definitely the animals. So it's all about the animals. And this morning, for example, I saw a video of horrific things on Animal Factory. And as I was watching it, it made me realize that I'm going to work harder. I'm going to do better, because this industry must be eliminated completely, especially now that we can reproduce any kind of fur. And, the fabrics are becoming more beautiful every year. And, so there is absolutely no more excuses to wear real fur. We must completely stop. It's the 21st century, so we must move forward. So the animals are definitely my driving force. And, of course, the end of the fur industry, which is a $40 billion industry every year. And the numbers are staggering because, more than 100 million animals are killed each year for their furs. And 1 billion rabbits are killed as well. Rabbits are some of the most used and abused animals in the world. And we need to create more awareness and education about the fur industry, because all of a sudden it came back, and it came back with vengeance.
Why?
It came back, and the fur industry is very smart, and they spend millions and millions of dollars in coming back very quietly. What they did is the Saga, which is one of the biggest auction houses in Scandinavia, started giving free pelts to FIT students, to all the new upcoming emerging designers.
In Scandinavia?
All over the world.
Really?
All over the world.
Wow.
So you see all the new emerging designers and the fashion students coming out. They have free pelts. What can we do with this? Wow. Let's make a fashion show. They come out with all this fur. The fur is very colorful, fun. They choose it to make it very colorful because they don't want you to think what's behind it. That kind of looks like faux. Let's not think about what's underneath, what's behind it. And also they start giving free fur to all the celebrities, and the celebrities started, wearing it. They are fun, they're colorful, they're fun. Then little by little, and more, you start seeing it in all the fashion magazines, in all the editorials, everywhere. And so this is how it came back. It came back, and nobody's saying anything anymore, which I don't understand why, because I remember, going a little back. This is how I started. And this is where my first idea came about Pelush. It was more than 20 years ago. I worked for the Fendi family. And that's where, I saw PETA people standing outside, hundreds of them, climbing on the building. And I was like, oh my God, I'm with you guys. Absolutely.
So were you working with fur for Fendi?
Yes.
Wow.
I was working with
Even
the
though
fur.
you were an activist?
I was not a vegan. I was not an activist. I was in my early 20s. It was my first job when I first came here in the States. I'm originally from Milano, Italy. And, I got this amazing, it was a great job. It was a great, I cannot say anything, but they treated me very well. And, yes, of all places, me, an animal lover, this is what I had to get. But it also taught me a lot of what I'm doing now. So that's why you cannot fight the universe, because nothing is left undone. There is a reason why I had to work with that. And so how it happened is that one season they made the first faux fur, and as soon as I saw it, I fell in love with it because it was something from the future. I never seen anything like that. It looked exactly like the sheared mink that was hanging for $45,000. Instead, that was back then $7,500. Well, it happened that, the ladies that would come, they loved the faux fur. They were like, oh my God, this is not real.
This is
a Fendi. Wow. I can't believe this. I'll take it. So after we lost, a couple of sales, of the $45,000, so they chose the other option. They decided, let's not do this anymore. What are we doing? Take it out of the floor. So it happened that we had an employee sale, and I bought that faux fur. And I always looked for that fabulous product. And I'm like, if we can reproduce something like this, why can't we make everything like this?
Exactly.
But so what I did, I started looking around. I did the market research just to find out that the product didn't exist. And I looked and I looked and I looked for 18 years.
Oh, wow. That's a long time to do research.
But I always looked because I always wanted a product. I always loved this product, the one I'm doing now, because it's fun and, it's whimsical and it's glamorous, it's luxurious.
Yeah.
And women obsession on ornamentation, it will never go away. We're women. We like the sparkles. We like the fur. We like the feathers. We like to ornament ourselves. So I had to wait 18 years. And after...
What were you doing during that time?
I worked for Fendi for 8 years, and after I worked for Prada as personal shopper here on Madison Avenue for 13 years.
Got it. So you've got a strong background in fashion.
Very strong, luxury fashion background, yes. Very serious, important fashion houses. And you can also see a little bit of the DNA of the two together, plus my own personal taste, obviously. There is a lot in there as well. So it's like innovation, traditional innovation, and of course the ethical thing behind it. So then one day I was at Prada, and I was like, you know what? I have a feeling that we are getting very close to my standard. Obviously, high standard being in the luxury market for so long. So I said, you know what? Let me find out if this product is ready now. So what I did, I went to Dubai. I met with one of my best friends. He's a couture designer from Rome, Antonio Grimaldi. And I said, Antonio, listen, I don't even know where to start. I think this product is ready. And, I've been waiting for this product on the market for the longest time. And how come nobody's doing it? I feel like there is a need. In the meantime, the fur, it was coming back more and more and more. And I'm like, you know what? Nobody's doing it. I'm going to do it.
Nice.
Somebody's going to do it. Okay, fine. It's almost, saying to the universe, fine, I'm going to do it. So we met and in Dubai, and he taught me everything. He said, okay, we go to Paris and I'm going to teach you. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to teach you how to order. I'm going to teach you who to meet. I'm going to teach you what to do, and I'm going to guide you. So until now, he's my mentor. And so I went and I saw that the technology was finally here. And this was almost like 5 years ago. From 5 years ago to now, I cannot believe the technology, how more beautiful and more sophisticated it has become. Not only of faux fur, but also for suede, for leather, for crocodile, for snakes. We can reproduce.
But the thing with that, Anna, I wanted to ask you is, I'm looking at your furs now, and I touched some of them, and they look and feel like real fur. So one of the arguments is, well, if it looks and feels like real fur, you're kind of basically promoting the idea of fur. So what's your response to that? My response to it is that right now I cannot worry about this because I have a bigger monster to fight, which is the fur industry, and I need to save as many fur-bearing animals as possible. So, the only way you're going to kill that industry is by giving them the best possible option to real fur. And then eventually that is going to phase out very naturally. Yeah. Exactly. It's going to be a very organic process. Of course, I always suggest if you're going to go out with a faux fur that looks so real, please wear a pin. Or wear my logo, an anti-fur pin, or something that makes a statement. Got it. I was going to ask that, because otherwise there's the risk of maybe people throwing red paint at you, or, having a go at you, shouting at you. Or a conversation, which actually, I think, if you wear a faux fur, you wear a pin, or maybe you don't wear a pin, because now still nobody knows me. I'm like the best kept secret in Manhattan right now. So, but, my logo is not known now. So, eventually, like Canada Goose has the patch in the thing. Then the Pelush logo will be on the coat. Oh, nice. But another thing that it's so important to me, I just don't want it to be just another logo, another tag. It needs to be, something very special, very unique, almost like a piece of jewelry. Yeah, especially because this is such a luxurious brand, like just having a logo would be a bit weird. Like it's almost, like you say, looking something sparkly on. Yes, absolutely, exactly. The girls love their sparkles. That's also not going away, okay? So I would like to make the logo with more sparkles, maybe something with a heavy border with beautiful stones, beautiful Swarovskis. But it becomes part of the actual. Exactly. So not only you're making a statement because, as I was, this is a big threat for the fur industry. This is the first time this kind of luxurious product is coming out. Yeah. So this is really what they should be very fearful of what I'm doing. And I love your tagline, the revolution. The revolution, because this is a fur revolution. Yeah. For the first time, I am revolutionizing the fur industry and the faux fur industry, which before it was considered like something cheap and something cheap and not as luxurious as we offer. Sure. But this is not the case anymore. It's absolutely spectacular. It feels, it looks, we can reproduce chinchilla, which is one of the softest fur in the world. But Anna, some people there's been reports, particularly out of China, that some fur that's supposedly faux fur actually contains dog or cat or rabbit. So, and I think there was even a report which I think I sent to you a few months ago. Yes. How do people know? Like, how can they know if they're buying something? I mean, obviously, if they buy yours, they know, and you can talk a little bit about where you source yours from. But otherwise, how How do they know?
The problem is fast fashion, and it's a big problem, and we absolutely must stop buying fast fashion and throwing things out. We need to buy much less and keep it. Yeah. And keep it. If you don't want it, hand it down like we used to do. Don't just throw it out, because the fashion industry is a huge problem, also environmentally. So it's not that. We have to be less of the consumers. We need to buy smarter, and we need to stand behind companies that they are ethical and they have moral values. So by wearing a pin, not only you are making a statement. I believe that animals shouldn't be treated as properties and be used. And I'm making a statement because I bought this brand. And look, it's fabulous, luxurious, it looks good on me, and I have the same feeling. And this is something that I wanted to reproduce as well, is the feeling that a real fur gives you, which is that fuzziness when the woman, when, I used to see women coming offended, putting on the fur, and they just love it. They feel, it's like wearing cashmere, it's like wearing silk. There is something that is very, it goes inside, what you feel. When your skin touches something, it gives you an emotion. So I wanted to give and to replicate that emotion without the cruelty. So that's why I love everything that is soft, everything that is supple. So,
and where do you source yours from? So
everything in Europe. Everything I source in Europe. And what I do is I pick a little bit from everyone. I just pick the best of everyone.
And do you check where it's sourced from, so that you know that definitely is faux?
Yes, because the main materia prima, how you call it, the main material all comes from one place, which is Japan. I mean, fashion now, you cannot say anymore that comes from one country. It comes from many different countries, because the product comes from Japan originally. Then they have the machine either in Korea, in France, Italy, China. Then maybe somebody else has another machine, they send it back to the other country, and so on, so on, so on. Sometimes to make one fur, it goes around 3 times or 4 times in 4 countries before you get the final product. So I learned so much, and it's so interesting. But going back to what you were saying, and that is happening.
How do you guarantee that yours is faux fur?
Well, I source it from the best people, obviously, and also because of my knowledge. Right. I mean, I can spot a real fur or a faux fur a mile away, so I definitely know what I'm talking about. So, but usually, it's when you produce so much, you make so much, that's where the problem, it becomes a huge problem. And, real fur is not expensive anymore. It's not expensive. It's actually quite cheap. You can buy a fur vest for $100, made out of cats and dogs. Many people are walking around with cats and dogs on their backs. I see them every day walking around. Or, dogs, like Canada Goose with their dogs, everybody's so proud, it's total cruelty from inside and out. Yeah. And we cannot do this anymore. We must move forward, and also, always look at the future, because I think the biotechnology and the nanotechnology in the fabric industry is going to be, it's already changing so much and so fast that I cannot wait what they're going to do next. Sure. And I'm always going to try to make the product as more ethical as possible. And of course, being a vegan and also a big animal rights activist, it's very important, because this is not only about fashion. This is not only about, the fur revolution that now I tell you how I got to that word. But this is a revolution of the heart. It's a revolution of the soul, because we must do something. We really don't have much time. We have to move fast, and we must change very fast in everything we do. In the eating, in the consuming, in the buying, but the word revolution, so it came because, being a revolutionary, doing the fur revolution, I wanted to write a manifesto, because there is no revolution without a manifesto. So I called my ex-husband, that he's a revolutionary himself, and I asked him, listen, can you help me to write down, I want to write down a manifesto, because what I'm doing is it's a fur revolution, and I want to talk about it, and I want to, I told him all my ideas. And so we were like playing with slogans, revolution, da, da, da. And that's how it came out, and at the end it came out revolution. And then, so now it's everywhere. I put it on the clothes, I put it everywhere, on hashtag revolution, join the revolution. So basically I created this anti-fur movement, and, asking people to make compassionate choices and go for instead of choosing cruelty.
Perfect. Now tell us about when you first started up the business. What were some of your challenges and how did you handle them?
Oh my God, where should I start? I mean, this was the hardest thing I ever done in my life. It completely changed my life. What a ride I'm still doing, because I never expected to be so overwhelmed ever, emotionally as well, especially emotionally. I wouldn't change it for a second though. So the biggest challenge is definitely doing it all by myself. I had to learn everything, not from, all of a sudden I had to learn everything on the other side of fashion, everything. How do you make it? Where do you start? So it was very difficult, very painful, and very costly.
Were you still working a day job when you started? You started it in your spare time?
Yes, right. and after 2 years in, back then my boyfriend, now my husband, told me, Anna, if you really want to do this, I don't think you can do both. It was impossible, absolutely impossible. If you want to start a business, you need to stop what you're doing and just put yourself full force into it. Even though I tried. And he said, I will support you 100%. Let's do it. So I was like, okay, fine, wow, let's do it. But, this is not a product that I can give to anyone. It's a difficult product to work with. The pile is very thick. You can also have the thin one, which is a little more easier to work with. So I had to change, I think, like 5 different pattern makers, 5 different people that make the product, trial and error and learning what this fabric does. Well, I already understand pretty much, working with real fur before, what a fabric needs to do, or wants it to do, or wants it to be. But when I started, I had no idea it was going to be so difficult to find the right people that can make a product that doesn't look like, a Zara or, any faux fur that you see outside. What is so distinctive of what I want to do how can I make this faux fur like a Fendi fur and not like a Zara coat? So it was very hard, but finally, that happened, that you have to go through all this process to finally I found this small atelier here in New York, the garment district. And when I saw my first coat done, I was in heaven. The details, and it's all about the details, and also how you respect the fabric, the love that you have what you do. It shows. The love, it shows. If something is like machine made really fast, or somebody that takes care and cuts it and then sews it, and it shows. So when I saw it, I was ecstatic. I was so happy to see it, and I was like, "That's it. I have arrived. This is it. Finally, I'm there." So but it was it's very difficult to juggle so many things by myself, and plus other things, plus all the social media and
I was going to ask you about the marketing a bit. So how have you marketed? What sort of strategies did you use? Being that it's just you, how have you got it out there?
Okay, so I started not knowing anything about this, and I kind of almost waited a little bit to go into all the social media. But my girlfriends who are younger, like, Anna, is so important. You must do it. You must learn it. So I learned it. And also I had advisors and other people that, they were not that great. I also had, PR and other people, amazing people. I don't want to say anything against them, but they were just not for me. They really didn't understand where I'm going with this. But so I started with Instagram, posting. And then I figured out that through Instagram, then you can do Facebook and Twitter. And then I started little by little, I started. And so now I'm doing it also by myself. But it takes also a very long time. And now I don't have a PR anymore, and it takes even longer. It takes even longer to call, the press. And you call the press and they tell you to go on the website. And then it's like you can't get around. It's almost like you need somebody to introduce you to the journalist. I have an amazing story to tell. Because this is, again, not only about fashion, it's about what is happening right now in the world. And so
when you say you had a publicist, so you had like a general publicist or a fashion publicist?
I had a PR person that was doing, but she really didn't get any. She called me one day before the fashion show. Anna, give me the 3 main things about you. And I'm like, you don't know what they are? Are you kidding me? You represent my company and you cannot tell them, after I told her, many, many times, you still don't know what my company represents?
That should have been one of the first questions before even taking you on as a client.
Yes, exactly.
So I think that shows the importance of working with the right people.
Yes. To have the right team around
who's passionate about your product.
Yes,
as well, and
exactly.
knows that industry. Fantastic. Now, you've managed to get the coat on Helen Mirren, A-lister celebrity, one of my favourite actresses. Very impressive. How did that come about?
Through Instagram.
Through Instagram. Tell us more.
Through Instagram, like I had most of any of my connections that made me eventually do something with my business, only exclusively through Instagram. Not Facebook, not Twitter, not anything else, through Instagram. So it happened that I was in Italy. My dad recently passed away just one year ago. And I got this message from this celebrity stylist. He's a white, fabulous girl and amazing stylist. And she saw one of my Instagram posts. And so she contacted immediately and said, I love, what you're doing. I have Elamira. I have to dress Elamira. We love her. She's wearing a beautiful Marchesa dress. I would love to put her in one of your coats. I saw this one. Can you please have it for the red carpet? She's having it. And I said, yes, of course. Of course. Go for it. And then before the assistant came and picked up the coat, I said, listen, can you please do me a favor? I'm going to give you this pin. It's the Humane Society anti-fur pin with the heart. Can you please ask her? I really would like her if she can wear this on her coat. If she doesn't, she doesn't. But please ask her. Yeah. Oh my God, when I saw the pictures, she did it. She did it. And apparently she made such a huge fashion statement that when she turned around and everybody saw the anti-fur pin, everybody went crazy.
Fantastic.
But then there is another thing is that, they wrote on the article, she's wearing the fabulous faux fur, this and that, but nobody was asking, nobody asked, who is that coat? Who is that? And this is why I think having like a good PR person that is connected to the right.
Take advantage.
Yes, because a good journalist, has to find out what she's wearing on the red carpet.
So when you gave her the coat, like in terms of giving a celebrity, because that's obviously your product, you can't just give them like a small, low dollar product. Yours are very high end. So do they borrow it and wear it and get it back? Or
Yes.
In
that case,
that's how it generally works.
Yes. But I'm not opposed to also give some freebies to girls that represent who are vegan or they are going into that direction that are ethical. Yeah. I'm not interested to put my fur coat to somebody, a Jennifer Lopez or a Beyonce that they still wear real fur, that they love real fur. So you can't wear both. Yeah. Okay, you cannot be yes, I wear both. Because you need to make a decision. Either you are against animal cruelty or you aren't.
Great.
So you are either an animal abuser or you're not. Make your choice.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Now tell us about fashion shows. How important are fashion shows now, particularly like the big ones, New York Fashion Show, for, say, an independent or an up-and-coming brand such as yourself?
Very, very difficult. It's very difficult to start because even if you put your name on the CFDA, you don't have the CFDA is the main. It's the one that organizes all the big fashion shows.
Okay.
So even if you are on the list with all the other designers, obviously the main designers are on the official list, and then you have like a million other designers who are not known, but you can still put your name and ask everybody to come and see it.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult because, again, not having a PR that is connected, not doing everything by yourself, and you get pulled in 10,000, different ways, and you cannot do it all. So, but they are very important. You should always do them. You should always be out there, relevant. But it's to get attention, to get the journalist to come to your fashion show. And my fashion shows are very, very powerful. This was only my second fashion show.
This was the New York.
This is the New York fashion show. And because I put activism throughout the fashion show.
And you used different models, like models who are activists as well, and different ages or different body shapes, which I think is very cool.
Yes, but also everything is so incredibly well studied because every single thing has a meaning. From the music that I chose, through which activist I chose, every single one represented a huge animal rights activism company. So I had Ashley Byrne from PETA. I had Edita Brincast from New York NYC class. And I had, who else did I have? Well, so everyone was representative of, so I wanted somebody to represent the health. So I had a big nutritionist and a coach that represented, the importance of nutrition. I had another big activist that is always there, all of them literally go on the ground, doing the work, the dirty work.
With the placards.
Yeah.
And now they're on the run. You brought them from outside, being thrown out by security, but brandishing their placards. You invite them onto the stage. I think that's fantastic.
It's fantastic. And also I always love to work with all the animal associations as well and give back. As a matter of fact, anytime I have a trunk show, I always give a percentage to that animal association. And that's where I always want to do that.
Yeah.
And I will also love eventually later on to even have a Pelush Foundation. So I can really help the really good, like things that nobody's even thinking about. And I'm like, my God, this must be changed. It's important. This must be changed and that must be changed. I remember when I started this whole process and how I became a vegan is, because of the nature of what I'm doing, I knew that one day, sooner or later, I had to sit down and learn everything about the fur industry and see it with my eyes. Yeah. And I waited a year and a few months because I was scared. I was scared to look. And, but one day, my cat died, actually, almost a year ago, also, the 5th of November. And when she died, I don't know what happened to me, but she gave me an incredible courage, like the courage of a feline, the courage of a lioness. And my God, I decided, I put myself here, right here, on this couch. And I said, okay, today is the day. I was by myself. I opened my iPad. I said, okay. Oh, actually, no, I was on my phone. And I started looking on Instagram. First on my iPad, and I started looking at PETA, Stella McCartney, PETA thing. Oh my God, I was like crying hysterically. But then after, when I went on Instagram, I started, doing the search on the, animal abuse, stop animal cruelty, stop animal abuse. Oh my God, what did I just open? A Pandora's box? I found myself in the vortex of unimaginable cruelty and atrocities that I would have never thought in my whole entire life. And everything changed from then on. It was so emotional. And still now I'm like very emotional. That, the immensity of the cruelty was so big that I cried for weeks. But not just crying like this. I was bawling out like tears. It's like everything that I knew, everything that I thought. And I always thought of myself as a very zen person, doing yoga, meditation, and being very in tune with the universe and everything. Little that I knew what was going on, and little that I knew about everything. So that completely changed. Then after I watched, Cowspiracy was really the last draw. I saw other documentaries, Racing Extinction, and because right after it happened that, here in New York, we had the Racing Extinction, and they put all the animals against the Empire State Building. It was beautiful. Then I saw the documentary, and then after I started watching all the other documentaries as well, and Earthlings, and then after Cowspiracy, it was very easy. It's very easy to go vegan because, and it's not. It's a joy. It's not. It's not difficult. Once you understand what's behind it, it's like, how can you, as a person, support that?
For sure. Now, I want to talk to you. You touched on trunk shows. What is a trunk? For those of us who are not fashionistas, people listening, what's a trunk show and why is it important for a brand such as yourself?
Trunk shows are important because, as a small brand, how do you start? The good thing about what I was doing before is that, especially working for Prada, I collected several good clients. And, usually from this area, from the Upper East Side. And, I said, okay, let's do my first trunk show. And I invited them all, and they could not believe what they saw. And, they came back. My first year was fantastic.
So what is it, though? What's a trunk show?
Oh, the trunk show is basically you do I like drama, so I always come up with a very spectacular. I like very theatrical things. So my first trunk show was at the Italian American Club right here on 69th Street. And it's this beautiful townhouse, very rich with candelabras and many rooms. And so I did a static display of, I think I had 20 mannequins, and then I put rolling racks in several rooms, and I had a DJ. Well, that's
so it's like a private fashion show almost.
It's a presentation. It's a presentation of your product, and then you invite your clients and their friends to come over, and then towards the end, since it was my first one, I spinned it into a little party, and I had a DJ, we had hors d'oeuvres and drinks, and everybody had a great time.
Right, so it's a way to showcase your products and make some sales?
Yes, it was, I did a whole day sale event, and then at 6 o'clock, I think we stopped the sale event, and it became a party for a couple of hours. Nice. So I did both. And
do you pay for the hire of the venue and that kind of thing?
Yes, I pay for everything.
Yeah, so it's like a marketing investment.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So would it be fair to say it's important as long as you know you can get people through the door, so already knew you had a certain clientele?
Yes. So, and then it's all word of mouth, really. Right. The thing is now, for example, I did a trunk show yesterday, and this is why now this needs to go to a different level, because this needs to go out. It's too beautiful of a product to still be a secret, the best secret in So now, yesterday, for example, so my clientele list is a certain amount, of people, which is not a staggering number. And, in order to have more people to the trunk show, you need a much bigger number. So, the past 2 days when I had my trunk show, I had two other co-hostesses, three co-hostesses, which they invited their friends, they're all animal activists and vegans. One of them was Missy Hargraves, which she stripped down at the end of the fashion show, completely naked, which I love her. She would do anything for the animals. And so through them, I got to know many more ladies. And can I tell you, those ladies are, some of the wealthiest people in the world. And they could not believe what they saw. They were shocked, surprised, happy. They loved it. And, I got many compliments, I made a few sales, and, but, this needs to, now what I'm doing is a stop and go. I'm stopping everything because I cannot do this by myself anymore. But now the goal needs to be very strong because we are going against a monster industry. And they're gonna fight. This is not gonna be easy.
Yeah.
But, we need to fight harder. We need to be smarter than them. And we need to come up with new ideas, a new way of educating and create awareness about everything.
What would you say to someone who's, perhaps listening to you now and they're, perhaps into fashion themselves, they're really interested and they have a day job, whether that's in fashion or not, and they want to start something up, not necessarily fur, but, some kind of perhaps fashion product. What advice would you give them before
starting?
Yeah. Because that's a big leap, and like you say, you kind of really threw yourself into the deep end.
Yes. I would say, whatever you think, save your money. Because whatever you think is going to be, it's going to be 5 times, 6 times more. If not even 10 times more. You have no idea what you're going against. And, everything counts. Every mistake you make counts. And it's important that you make that mistake because you will never make it again. And that's how, but mistakes are very costly. So every mistake is going to cost you and every mistake. So I suggest, to definitely, maybe look for somebody to help you, family, friends, anybody and then do your diligent work, find out. But you know what? It's something that you cannot prevent because you will make a ton of mistakes. And try and error are very important. So you must stay the course. You must stay the course. That's the important thing. Do not give up.
What were your key mistakes do you think you've made that you would do differently?
Trust. I think trusting, and I'm pretty good in sensing the feeling. I always believe that people are good at heart and they're not stupid. So, I'm always very positive. I always see the good way in everything. But, you trust someone to do a work. They tell you they can do it. You see they can do a fantastic job for everybody else. And then, when you see your product coming back, it looks like crap. And I'm like, what happened here? Hold on a second. Then you find out that they actually didn't make it in-house. They outsourced it somewhere else.
Right.
So, how do you, it's, that's why you need to keep on finding a good team. A good team. You need a good team of people. Yeah. And, you think it's one person. No, it's not. Let's try the next one. You think it's the right one? Maybe not. But always go with your gut feeling. And sometimes I always like to, they're all good people. Everybody was very good, very kind, very sweet. But maybe, I don't know, maybe they didn't get what I was doing. They didn't understand the standard that I had. Because I couldn't even show them the standard that I had. Because it was in my, because it was in my mind. I'm like, okay, this one is crazy. What do you mean? This looks beautiful. And I'm like, no, it doesn't.
That's wonderful. That's very good advice, though. I like that. So finally, Anna, what's your long-term vision for yourself and your brand?
I would like for this brand to take off full force. Because it's important to get it out there in order for, women, unless you give them the best possible option to real fur, they're not going to stop it. They're not going to stop wearing fur. So just give the girls what they want, but make it, without the animal cruelty.
Wonderful.
And
what about the name, actually? I meant to ask you about the name, Pelush.
You see, that's why I say everything counts, and everything was a labor of love. It was almost like giving birth to this company. It took me 1 year to come up with a logo 1 year, which originally originated from Spain, from a tie that I saw in Spain in a hidden courtyard. I knew already in my mind what I wanted, how it needed to look or what I wanted. I know that I wanted animals in it. I knew that I wanted it round. So it was such a process, it was painful to do the logo, because the logo needed to be spectacular, needed to be strong and elegant in the same time.
Yes.
And finally, when I got the vision and the inspiration, then when I saw it, I was like, yes, this is it. And my logo, I love the logo. It's so beautiful. It is strong and elegant. Exactly what I wanted. To go for the Pelush, that took me another 8 months to come up with a name. So, I was thinking, what is this? Is it like a fur? It's soft. It's, it's almost like a peluche. Peluche means plush.
Plush. I was thinking, is it a play on words?
Peluche in Italian, in French.
Oh, I see.
And in Spanish, they say peluche. Means something plush. So I wanted the word to be of the same product that I'm making. So it's something soft and plush. Yeah. So peluche. Yeah. So what I want to do now is I want to pelushify everything.
Nice. I love it.
And one of the things that I would like to take, also I would love to see is, I would love to make more vegan. I would like to branch out a little bit, because I would like to put luxury vegan fashion into the luxury platform, which does not exist. It's inexistent. There is only Stella McCartney, and that's it. There is nobody else. And, what if you don't like her style, or you want something maybe more romantic, with more embroidery, more sparkles, so we need more vegan luxury up there in the platform. So I started designing couture gowns, vegan couture gowns. Started designing a couple of them. Let's see how people respond. Everybody loved them. I'll show them to you. And but then I would love to also do the accessories, because accessories are very important. So I definitely would love to do vegan shoes, because I don't see the ones that I like out there still. I'm sorry, but I still don't. Again, luxury. I'm thinking luxury. Even though I really loved your shoes that you were wearing today. I love them. I want them. That I love. But
I should just let listeners know, she's talking about my vegan glitter boots. They're very sensible and comfortable, but they're also quite fabulous because they sparkle, especially in the sunshine.
Oh my God, they're outrageous. I need them.
They're from Vegan Style in Melbourne.
Good.
Cool. Okay.
So then, of course, handbags, shoes, and another thing that I would love to do is also high-end furnitures. Like do peluche casa, peluche home.
Yeah.
So throws and pillows and super, super contemporary, clean, modern furniture. As I told you, I want to pelushify everything.
I was going to say, you've got a big vision. I like it.
Yes,
fantastic.
Yes. And then, of course, very, very important, give back to the animals. Yeah. Save anything we can save of many different fields needs to be saved. The thing is that we need to be fast. Yeah. And we need to go full force. We cannot wait anymore. We don't have the time, because this is the first time ever that we are not any longer sustained by the earth. Now, we thought we had 5 more years of the earth sustaining us. Instead, guess what? It happened before. So since this summer, now, from everything that we do now, we are taking from the earth. So we have to be very careful of what we consume, what we eat, what we buy. Yeah. From now on, it's going to be a disaster otherwise. And we must talk about it. We need to talk about veganism to everyone out there, any opportunity we have. And it's a moral imperative. This is the baseline of social justice.
Awesome. Well, I love your vision, I love your brand, and I love what you're doing. Anna, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Katrina. Nice to meet you.
So that was Anna Tagliabue from Pelush. You can find out more at pelush.com. And that link is on the show notes page at veganbusinessmedia.com/podcasts and going to episode 94. Now for our vegan business news roundup. Canadians are embracing veganism in a big way, according to the latest Year in Search by Google Canada, reports the National Post. It shows that Canadians particularly sought out vegan recipes for comfort food, such as mac and cheese, lasagna, pizza, gravy, and brownies. Trends expert for Google Canada, Alexandra Hunnings-Klein, said interest in veganism was at an all-time high. Since 2004, which is as far back as we're able to go when we look at these trends, searches for veganism peaked this summer in Canada. The top provinces and territories searching for veganism were British Columbia, Yukon, Ontario, Nova Scotia, and Alberta, she said. So, good news for Canadian vegan businesses, and of course it's great to see interest in vegan living ramping up across the globe. Vegan fashion will be a major trend for 2018, particularly in the luxury sector, according to global research firm J. Walter Thompson Intelligence's latest The Future 100 report. The report highlights emerging consumer behaviours with 100 trend predictions from the Innovation Group. Citing tech firms Modern Meadows biofabricated leather and Bolt Threads vegan silk, which are created by using yeast to grow collagen, the report says sustainability, formerly regarded as antagonistic to everything luxurious, is now taking on luxury connotations itself. Innovating in sustainability is becoming viewed as intelligent and aspirational, precisely the values that luxury brands try to convey in their messaging. Well, amen to that. And vegan food is also noted as a major trend for 2018 in the report. So this is fantastic news for aspiring and existing vegan business owners. Finally, following on from the previous story about vegan living continuing its growth in popularity, I wanted to point you in the direction of my latest Forbes article, which was published on the 27th of December 2017, if you're listening in the future, in which I highlight the key research, numbers, players and developments in the vegan and plant-based business sector throughout 2017 and into 2018 and beyond. Now, it's a comprehensive article which took quite a lot of time to put together, and I couldn't include absolutely everything, which in itself demonstrates the massive growth of this sector. And it's heartening and inspiring to see all this information in one place. You may find the statistics and other information useful if you're seeking investors or to show other companies and businesses that you might be involved with, as well as anyone who might query or even criticise your decision to run your business on vegan principles. It's good to have solid facts and figures at your fingertips, so do feel free to make use of that and share it around. You can find a link to the article on my Forbes blog at forbes.com/sites/Katrina Fox, and you can also find that link on the show notes page at veganbusinessmedia.com/podcasts and going to episode 94. So that's it for this episode of Vegan Business Talk. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a review and rating on iTunes or any other platform you're listening on. Finally, I encourage you to head over to veganbusinessmedia.com, where you can find more resources, including details of my media and PR consultations, copywriting, editing, and proofreading services to help you grow your vegan business. I'm Katrina Fox, author of Vegan Ventures, Start and Grow an Ethical Business, and I look forward to catching up with you in the next episode of Vegan Business Talk. Bye for now.